Hello and welcome into the Starcast Chicken Mark Studios along with Christian Chambers, and we got brother James here tonight as well. I am Ryan, and we are brought to you by the DraftKings Sportsbook app along with the Hockey Podcast Network. Hey guys, how y'all doing tonight?
I'm doing great. I'm here to talk about hockey and eat bean dip, and I am fresh out of bean dip.
Well, we've got several things to talk to you guys here about tonight. Dang, that was a very awkward cough there,
It was
Chris.
aggressive, sorry.
A little aggressive. You can hear that over the mic. Dang. Okay, anyways, we are going to talk to you guys tonight about a lot of development camp players. Because currently, over this past week, the Dallas Stars have held a closed to the public development camp for a lot of their prospects. And that includes, all the typical ones that have just been drafted from this past year's draft. It's some of the older ones like Maverick Bork. I believe Riley Tufte is still in there as well. There's lots of other players, but we're going to focus in on two in particular tonight. One, I believe, has I wouldn't say a great, but a decent shot of making the NHL roster. And then the other doesn't really have a shot just because they're absolutely loaded in his position.
But he's surprising people.
He is, and we'll get into that a little bit tonight as well. But first, what we want to talk about is just a couple of things that have been going around the NHL lately. Preseason is less than 2 weeks away, guys. It's getting closer and closer to training camp. So this offseason has definitely felt shorter than others. So maybe that's a good thing. I definitely think it's a good thing for us. Maybe not so much for the players, but for us, hockey comes back sooner. And one of the biggest things that we've actually heard about today was because of Kraft Hockeyville USA. Sorry if I can actually talk. Kraft Hockeyville USA awarded a preseason game to the city of El Paso in Texas. So out in my neck of the woods. So I'm really excited about that. I'm trying to get tickets to that game. And it's going to be held where the El Paso Rhinos, who are an NAHL team where they play, and it's going to be the Stars and the Coyotes. So, that, of course, just the two closest teams to El Paso. So that'll be fun. And a lot of marketing lately from the Stars has been more about, hey, let's push Texas hockey, not just the DFW area. Do you think that's a good idea, Chris? What do you think?
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, especially I forgot they added some new marketing director guy, and he's really just going to start pushing hockey towards Mexico and to more Mexican audiences, which is a really great thing, obviously, because almost half the state is Hispanic now. So why not market to them? And they would love hockey. So also, we have all those states around us that don't even have a hockey team. So of course we need to be expanding to those as well. So I'm hoping that the new marketing guy and this hockey game will spread that out a lot more, because I know it's not a very big thing in many other places, even other than DFW. Even in Houston, there's not very many hockey fans. Even here in College Station, where I am, there's not very many hockey fans. So definitely need to start spreading it out wider, because you've got the core base of fans in DFW already. I think that's pretty strong.
Well, honestly, if you go back and look, and again, people are still pushing for it. They say, oh, this is a future rivalry, interstate rivalry, because a lot of people are still saying, oh, well, Arizona is going to be moved to Houston sooner rather than later. And I still don't see that happening. We've talked about that on this podcast before, but a lot of people are excited because they're like, this is a possible future interstate rivalry between these two franchises. So we'll see how that goes. And good for the NHL to do stuff like this, especially in the smaller markets like this, in the middle of nowhere places like this. This is absolutely fantastic to show for the NHL to show that they care about the smaller markets. And
I always love the Hockeyville USA stuff. It's super fun. I've watched the past 3 years, I think, just this preseason game, just because all the stuff between whistles and between periods and stuff they do is so cool. It's cool to hear about a smaller community that's not really any different from other communities, but they had this really cool thing happen to them, and they're getting all the upgrades and stuff, and telling about how excited they are for their hockey season and for their hockey teams. It's cool to hear about places like that full of people that care about hockey that much.
Right, and believe it or not, in the middle of nowhere, West Texas, literally West Texas, as far west as you can get in Texas, there is a NAHL team that the community loves. So good for the NHL to do this sort of thing, and hopefully this continues because I love hearing stories about this and the stories that are behind some of these cities that win. And what's awesome about this too is that this is a Texas city. I mean, most of the cities that have won Craft Hockeyville USA have been, up in the north, Michigan, Canada. Minnesota. Yeah. Well, Canada actually has their own Craft Hockeyville, I think. But yes, it's basically Canada. It's north. It's all the northern stuff. So I'm just glad that El Paso won. Super, 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 super cool.
Dallas is getting all the first for things like that. I mean, first Southern team to host the Winter Classic, first win for Hockeyville USA. I mean, we're pretty amazing. What a great market. Good job, Stars fans.
Yeah, exactly. And I make this argument all the time, and I really think this is true when it comes to this. And y'all tell me if I'm wrong about this or not.
You're wrong about this.
You always say I'm wrong, Chris, but it's okay. If the Stars had not won the Cup as early as they did, the franchise would not be as successful as they are now.
Yeah,
is that a fair statement?
That's definitely true, especially when it comes to like diehard hockey fans. Like there wouldn't be hardly as many diehard hockey fans as there is right now. Because if you look at it for a Southern team, there is a lot of diehard hockey fans, and for a DFW team, there's a lot of diehard fans. For most teams in DFW, there's not that many fans that are going to go to that many games, no matter how good the team is. But the Stars are one of them.
I mean, that for me, that's how like Florida is in this situation right now. Like, if a couple of years ago, if you looked in their stadium while they were playing, they had no fans in there at all. It is super crucial to be able to be at least good.
Yeah, and when the Stars were bad, like. I mean, their fans obviously went down, but it wasn't as bad as Florida's was. If you look at Florida games, there was literally nobody in the stands.
Well, I mean, that happens when you don't win a playoff round since 1996, and your franchise was founded in 1993. So, speaking of it, let's talk about Florida for a second. I know it's a random tangent, but Florida's supposed to be good this year, right?
They're supposed to be good last year.
They were good last year.
They were, yeah.
Yes, they're a lot better this year.
Yes, and honestly, with some of the moves they've made, and I mean they went out and paid their players who they thought deserved it, and they're scary. In some of the way too early standing predictions that I've seen, some people have gone so bold enough to put Florida ahead of Tampa Bay, and Florida wins the Atlantic Division, which I think is insane.
I don't think that's insane.
I don't think that's insane either.
Yeah.
Really? Okay, tell me why.
Tampa lost a lot and Florida gained. It's pretty much that easy.
It's not only that for me, is that Tampa feels like a more built team for the playoffs. I mean, even last season, they didn't top off the division, and they still went all the way.
Yeah.
Well, for me, the only thing, maybe it's just a recency bias thing that I have. Maybe it's just because Tampa won the Cup recently, and that might be it. And I mean, like you said, they did lose their entire third line. So they lost Coleman, they lost Barclay Goodrow, they lost Andy Gord. They're all three in different places now. So
and none of them are third liners anymore.
Right, and none of them are paid like third liners anymore either. Yeah. Blake Coleman getting like $6 million a year, I think, $5 or $6 million a year, something like that in Calgary. But my thing is that Tampa always just seems to find other players to fit the bottom six, and I mean they didn't touch their core. They still have Hedman, they still have Sergachev, they still have Vasilevsky. Holy crap, Kucherov, Stamkos, Point.
Yeah, they're still
Palat.
Really good. And if they don't win, they're going to be number 2. But it's not a crazy prediction, I don't think.
So, and, let me mention this, too, because I was watching a Hockey Guy video again today, and it was from yesterday, and he was talking about his predictions and then 2 other sports groups that were talking about their own predictions. And there was a prediction by Sportscaster that actually had, get this, I think this is hilarious. They had the Stars second, which is exactly what I said. But the thing that made me feel less great about it is that they had the New York Rangers winning the Metro Division, which makes absolutely no sense.
Well,
So-
if you heard what the hockey guy had said about that, he said that if their young players play like up this year, like they're expecting some of them to, but if they all play up like that, they definitely have a chance to do that.
If every single one does.
Yeah,
but
that's
that's
what-
not
that's-
gonna happen. And even if
Probably
every
not.
single one does, then they have a chance to win the division. Like, there's no
It's
realistic
a bold
chance.
prediction without a doubt. I agree with that.
Yeah, but I love how bold it is. It's awesome. It's not like it. They
It's
didn't.
not. It's
I
not
mean,
bold. It's stupid. It's a dumb.
no, it's bold.
bold.
It may be stupid, but it is bold. But at the same time, I mean, made my bold prediction and said that Dallas would finish second, right? And I said they might even
That's
be
not that
able
bold
to.
though. They really.
That
could
is
finish
very
second.
no. That is very bold according to the rest of the league. The rest of the league doesn't think the Stars are going to get second. That most believe that they're going to be a playoff team, but they all believe that they're going to be a wild card playoff team, like fourth or fifth. And by the way, every prediction I've seen has had 5 teams from the Central getting into the playoffs. So
we're
I've seen the Stars get fourth and fifth, and I've never seen them get third. So it's either been second, fourth, or fifth. So I hope it's second, but we'll see. Anyways, that was just kind of random to get to that point. But I really think that Florida will be a really good team this year, and I can see them getting.
I'm glad that we're not in their division anymore.
No, yeah. Can you imagine having to deal with that same division again? You would still have to deal with Tampa.
I don't
You
know
would
if
still.
the Central's much better.
I think
Pretty
that
much equal.
I think the Central is more equal, but I think the teams are weaker in the Central, and the teams in the Atlantic that were in the Central are stronger. So like you've got
I'll buy that.
you got the Carolina, you've got the Tampa, you've got the Florida. I mean, though all 3 of those teams I think would push for second in our division.
Yeah, I think it's less likely that we are ahead of one of those 3 teams than we would be ahead of other teams in our division. Yeah, I agree with that.
Right. So I mean that's just what I think.
They're in the same division. Carolina, Tampa, and Florida. No? Am I wrong? I'm crazy. What's the
And
division?
in the Metro, it's the Rangers, Carolina, Islanders.
Okay, Carolina's in the Metro. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Oh, Carolina is in the Metro? Okay,
Yeah,
I thought
they're
that
in the Metro.
Okay, I thought they were in the Atlantic, but
I don't watch Eastern Conference hockey. That's sissy
Yeah.
hockey.
I don't watch too much either, but okay. Anyways, we went off on like 3 or 4 different tangents there. Anyways,
And then
okay.
we look like idiots.
And then we like. Anyways, getting to our next little bit of news from this past week. So last week it was breaking news that Sidney Crosby was going to be out for about 6 to 8 weeks because of a wrist surgery that he encountered.
Yep, and we said that they'd be fine because they still have Malkin.
And come to figure out, guess who else is hurt?
They don't have Malkin.
Man, and this is a team that let's talk about the Penguins for a second, because it is so weird to talk about the Penguins and figure out if this team is finally on the decline or if they're gonna stay there just because they have Crosby and Malkin. Now, to start the season, they won't have either one, and that's their first and second line center gone like that, and 2/5 of their number 1 power play gone. So, what is y'all's feelings on the Penguins? I mean, let's just say that both Crosby and Malkin come back and they're fine and everything like that. But how do they end up? Do they miss the playoffs? Are they first in the division? What's the deal?
Even if they come back, they're still expecting 6 to 8 weeks for both of them, I think. And even at that point, that's a crazy uphill battle. So even if they both come back and they're still just as effective this year as they were last year, I think they still are a bubble team, maybe. And that's giving them a little too much credit, in my opinion. But like a bubble team minus.
So maybe like maybe what we're thinking, like the New York Rangers, kind of.
Yeah,
They're kind of a bubble minus, maybe a bubble average playoff team, something like that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it'd be crazy awesome if they got in. And if they did get in, then they would be pretty good because they would have had to have a crazy run to get in.
Well, and again, but I'll disagree with you there, Chris, because here's the thing. If you look at, and again, this is probably recency bias with me, but when you look at how they've done the past couple of years, they've been a fantastic regular season team. Fantastic. Up to the point where last year they got first in the division, and, they were being told, oh, these guys are too old. These guys are too old. We need to start bringing some younger guys to play with Crosby and maybe get him one more cup ring. But they finished first in their division. They won the division. And then they got absolutely slaughtered in the playoffs. I don't remember what it was, but it wasn't 7 games. It was either 5 or 6. So the thing is, and that's been the consistent thing every single year for the past 3 years. Them and the Washington Capitals have been the exact same way. They do fantastic in the regular season, and then they absolutely suck it up in the playoffs. First round exits almost every single time. I mean, the Capitals haven't won a round since they won the Stanley Cup in 2018. That's how bad it is.
That's all I need.
So, well, and that's just what I think. I don't know. I mean, James, do you have any thoughts on that? Am I crazy? Do the Penguins? I mean, I don't know what to expect from this team.
I feel like the Penguins don't go on streaks. They kind of just are always consistently good enough to win games and get into the playoffs. So for me, with them not having the beginning of the season up, it's gonna be really hard for them to try to get back into a playoff spot. And I just don't think they can make it back there, honestly. I think they just miss playoffs.
2 against 1.
It'll be close.
I think they make the playoffs. I think they'll be second or third, and then they'll lose in the first round again, and then that'll be it. And then after this year, they'll be a bubble team, or they'll miss the playoffs every year after that.
It's 2 against 1, so Starcast Remarks' official position is that they will miss the playoffs.
All right, let's have a vote. All right, let's everyone say Ryan's right. Raise your hand.
Ooh.
James, raise your hand.
Ooh.
James, raise your hand.
Ooh.
Dang it. Okay, all in favor of Chris.
Aye.
Nah.
Screw both of y'all.
I heard it.
Exactly.
I heard it.
Hey, all I'm saying is that the hockey guy's little thing where he's the Flyers always make it in every even year.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm saying is it's an even year, and the Penguins are kind of falling off because their injuries. Spot for the Flyers right there.
Yeah, but he still put the Flyers outside of the playoff.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he
does listen to himself.
But now Crosby and Malkin are both hurt as well. I'm sure he did not make the power rankings when he's in knowledge of that.
Yeah, I guess that's true as well. So, but okay, Chris really wanted me to mention this next one because he thinks this is a really big deal. So we're gonna go ahead and mention because he absolutely loves the secondary logo of the Stars. That's the logo that's on the blackout jersey, and he wanted to point this out that the secondary logo is actually the center ice logo. So he is very excited about that. He is very happy that the Stars decided to do that. Chris, you have the floor. Go ahead.
I love that so much. The little red line has a little Texas on it too. They've always done that, but now it looks extra cool because the middle one's a big old Texas, and the secondary logo is so cool because it's got the shape of Texas, and it looks like the A&M secondary logo, which is also cool. The A&M secondary logo.
Oh, so now the truth comes out. You don't really care about the logo. You just like the connection to the Aggies. That's what it is.
I think the Stars had this logo before the Aggies did it, actually. So.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's super cool. Y'all should all go look at their social medias.
I think it's on Twitter.
It was on all of them.
It was on all of them? It was on Insta too?
So,
yeah.
It's very cool. Go like the picture because it's amazing. And I am so happy to be looking at that for 42 games.
Okay, so let me mention this as well because I think this is absolutely ridiculous. But so there was some, I forget where I saw this from, but I think it was Josh that posted it on the fan club group again on Facebook. But it was the worst logos or whatever, the logos ranked in the NHL or something like that. And the Stars were second to worst. Second to worst. Is that fair? What I mean,
No, well, I
maybe
think all
we're
those things are all
biased.
bull crap.
Really, you think it's just complete bull crap?
Oh yeah, all those. Oh, fans say that this logo is. Yeah, it's all bull crap. If we can't even trust political polls, how are we supposed to trust polls on things that don't even matter?
Well, that's exactly why I would say that those are more reliable than than the political polls.
No.
But yeah, I saw that and I was like, you got to be kidding me.
The Minnesota Wild logo was top 5, so no, I don't believe that poll.
Okay, but the Minnesota Wild logo is actually pretty cool. I love the logo.
It is
And
so stupid.
no, I disagree. They have a great logo. Now,
You're an idiot.
no, you're an idiot. No, you're an idiot. Okay,
I
anyways,
think it is complicated. That is my thought on it.
So he doesn't like it.
right. So, whatever. But okay, so
Against one.
man,
I love
I
democracy.
should stop talking.
James, why did I invite you on this
Well,
podcast
James
anyway?
is coming on every podcast from now on.
Okay.
It must be like the younger boys
Me and
against
James
the older
are the same
boy.
person, dude. We're the
Yeah,
same.
man.
I mean, in the group, it's older, middle, youngers.
Right? Yeah, yeah. They're
Let's
it's
stay
the
together.
yeah. It's in groups of 3. There's me and Zach. We're the older ones.
wrong.
You two and Casey are the middles, and then Travis and Cooper are the youngest. So whatever. But anyways, okay. So this also got me thinking. Should the Stars get rid of their old logo if this poll is like technically correct?
Your old
And
logo.
the Stars, well, sorry, new logo. I'm thinking the new logo.
No.
So should the Stars get rid of their D and the star in the way that it is? Should they get rid of that in favor, Chris, of the secondary logo? That's my question. Does that make it hard for you?
Yes.
Yes. What do you think? Put you on the spot now, didn't I?
Hold on.
He's
I gotta
gonna
look
have
at them
to.
side by
Now,
side.
now he's gonna have to go look at it. Now, if you ask me, I actually like the new logo, and it's the same thing with any logo that first comes out. It's very rare that a logo comes out and then immediately everybody likes it, right? It's very rare. Vegas kind of got the same vibe when they released their logo. Is kind of
No, their logo still sucks. It's a Spartan helmet, and they're the Knights, so that makes no sense.
It's not a Spartan helmet. It's a good
That's
logo.
not a Spartan helmet.
It's
Say
a
it
good.
again.
It's a good logo.
You
It
even
is
said
the
it again 'cause you
Golden
know it's a
Knights
Spartan helmet.
logo.
You know it's a Spartan helmet. Everybody look up a Spartan helmet right now.
Shut up. No, but anyways, I really do like their logo, and but anyways, if you ask me, I don't mind the secondary logo. I do like the secondary logo, but I don't think we should be going to it full time over the current logo. That's just me.
After looking at it, I have to agree. The primary logo is just it's simpler, and it just exemplifies what Dallas is. Big bright stars. It's the big D. We got a big D. That's freaking cool.
Well, what about? Can you see the Stars ever bringing back like their old color scheme from like when they won the cup and like when
Oh,
I
no.
was little? You don't think they'll ever bring that
I
back?
like the new color scheme is way better. Having 3 colors is stupid. Having 2 main colors is definitely the way to go.
Well, the only reason why a lot of people want to bring it back is obviously just because the Stars won the cup in that color scheme. And for me, that's huge because, me being little and us being the best team in the NHL and everything, that I've got it like a special connection to that color scheme and everything. So I hope they bring it back one day, but I think they got as close as they did with the reverse retro this year. I mean, that was the
Well,
old Star
It'd be fine
logo
to bring
with the new colors.
A jersey like that, like the Hurricanes have the Whalers jerseys. That's not even close to their real color scheme. So a throwback jersey, I would love a throwback jersey with the original star pattern on the bottom with the original colors with the like an exact replica. That would be cool, but not as their actual colors.
And for the love of God, please bring back the Mooterus. I want the Mooterus.
No.
I don't care what people say about the Mooterus. It's the ugliest, most amazing jersey ever.
How do you love that jersey, but you hate the Ducks reverse retro? The Ducks reverse retro.
The Ducks reverse retro was absolutely, it was amazing because of how ugly it was.
You said
right?
you hated it.
I didn't like it, and it took me a couple of months to actually finally realize, okay, fine, it's okay. But I mean, there were still some spectacular ugly jerseys from those reverse retros, like Arizona's and Los Angeles's. Both of those jerseys were like ugly. They had like some purple in them, and maybe that's why I like them. But yeah, they were fantastic. So, anyways, next little, again, random tangent off of that topic, but we talked about development camp happening this past week for some Stars prospects up in Frisco. And starting tomorrow, actually, you could actually watch the games on DetroitRedWings.com if you want to go and watch them. But the Dallas Stars will be participating in the Traverse City tournament that is held in the Detroit area. I don't know the teams off the top of my head about who they are. Actually, here we go. I have them right here.
One of them's the Blues.
Yep. So we have the Wings, the Jackets, the Leafs, the Blues, and the Stars. So it's a 5-team tournament, and I think it's just it's literally just round robin. There's no legit quarterfinals, semifinals, finals. There's none of that. But what's really nice about this tournament, and one thing I didn't know about the history of this tournament, was that Jim Nill was actually involved in the creation of this tournament, and it was partially his idea. So kind of cool to think about.
Here's the D League. That's what you're talking about.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Kinda.
Yeah, kind of. But anyway, so here's the games that the Stars are going to be playing. On Thursday, they're playing the Wings prospects at 6. On Friday, they're playing the Jackets at 6. On Sunday, they're playing the Leafs at 1. And then on Monday, they're playing the Blues at 11 a.m. So if you want to check out some hockey to get your fix on before the NHL season starts, there you go. DetroitRedWings.com, and it will all be available there. So I won't be able to watch Thursday or Friday, but you better believe I'm going to be watching Sunday. For sure. So, but we'll see. Do y'all get into these prospect tournaments like this, or not really?
I haven't, but if it's for free on DetroitRedWings.com, then I'm gonna watch.
Yep. I think it's fantastic that they're actually doing that. So we'll see how the Stars prospects do in all of this. And so let's get into one other thing before we head into talking about a couple of these prospects in development camp. But Turner Sports actually recently just released their group of guys that they're going to have for their broadcasting team. And I think this is a good thing. They've got a lot of big names, a lot of good broadcasters as well. They've got what they call the A team. It's going to consist of Kenny Albert, play-by-play, with Eddie Olczyk on commentary. So, nothing new there with Eddie Olczyk. He's been really good. Their quote-unquote B team will be Brendan Burke and Darren Pang, and then they'll have Keith Jones, who used to be with NBC on NHL on NBC. So he'll be a part of that. And then they've also got Jennifer Botterill, Jackie Redmond, Tariq El-Bashir. So, the typical big names that you've got. But what's really cool about their in-studio team is, and get a load of this. This is some big names. They've got Anson Carter. They've got Rick Tocchet. They've got Paul Bissonnette, who hosts Spittin' Chicklets. And then, of course, they have none other than the great one, Wayne Gretzky, being on their in-studio analyst team. I mean, I can't imagine how much money it must have cost to get him to come do this. So, with that announcement, with all those, especially with the Wayne Gretzky thing, what do y'all think about all those names I just kind of threw out there?
That's gonna make their in-studio show some must-watch TV with
Right.
Paul Bissonnette and Wayne Gretzky at the same desk.
Man.
What is gonna happen?
Well, and they totally did that on purpose because they know how the podcast is for Spittin' Chicklets. So, I mean, I love it. It's going to be awesome. I'm really looking forward to this tandem between TNT and ESPN, and I'm really, really hoping that we're going to get some better national hockey coverage than we did with NBC.
And what it's gonna do is that's gonna like make competition between the two companies as well. Like NBC had full reign, so like if their product sucked, who cares? That's the only place you can watch hockey, so we're watching it there either way. But now that we've got TNT and ESPN doing it, like if one of them is doing it substantially better, the more fair weather national audience is gonna watch the games on that program instead. So I think it's going to be awesome, and I'm really looking forward to. I'm super looking forward to the pregame stuff now on TNT because that's stupid.
Yeah, that's some big names right there. I mean, I can't. I'm like you said, Chris, Paul Bissonnette, Wayne Gretzky.
At the same table at the same time.
I know that's like two totally different, polarizing characters in the hockey world, and it's just so weird. But
highest esteem and most trash talk.
Right, exactly, 100%. So we're really looking forward to that and seeing how that goes with Turner Sports. So the only thing that I would mention is that I really hope that the NHL learned what they did wrong with NBC and growing the game of hockey, because ultimately that's their ploy, right? They're trying to grow the game, and ESPN is really good about showing the superstars out to the fair weather fans. So I'm hoping that they do that. Will ESPN do that? I don't know. We'll see.
They'll do it better than NBC did.
Yeah, if we base it off of what we see in the NBA and the NFL and stuff like that, I agree with you 100%. Okay, let's talk about a couple of these players that we've seen in development camp. And there's been a lot of articles recently about just singular players, right? So there's been a lot of articles recently that come out, like there's a Tyler Seguin article, there's a Jamie Benn article, there was a Joe Pavelski article that was released a couple weeks ago. But recently, within the past couple of weeks, they've really been focusing in on some of these development camp prospects, including none other than Thomas Harley and Riley Damiani. Which would y'all like to start with first? You want to start with Damiani? All right, let's go with Damiani first. So we'll start with him, and we'll see how it goes. And with him, what's your expectation of him coming into the season? Does he start on the opening night roster, or does he continue his development in the AHL?
Let's explain the article a little bit first. Hold on. Slow your roll, Ryan.
Okay.
First of all, Riley Damiani, 21-year-old guy, he's trying to get his way into the NHL. So he's talking to Rich Peverly, the guy who died and was resurrected on the ice.
Jesus? On the ice, you had it on the ice. Hockey Jesus.
But he talked about how Damiani is such a versatile player. In the article, he talks about how he really could have been playing on the penalty kill the whole year for the Texas Stars, but they just couldn't do that because they needed him on offense. So the only reason he wasn't playing penalty kill was because it was too much. He would have had too much ice time at that time. But they're talking about moving him over from center to where he normally plays, and moving him off to right wing to try and get him some more playing time. Because as we all know from me and Ryan's discussions over the past week, we have 5 centers right now. So
more than that,
it's a 6th center.
More than that, if you argue with other people, there may be some say there's more than 5.
Yeah. So, which side tangent? Didn't like a few years ago we had no centers. Anyway, moving on.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But he's gonna try and move to right wing, which is what he's been working on a lot during development camp. So on the wings, you're a lot more in the boards, and you're the one going down for pucks whenever they're chipped into the zone. And for 5'10" Riley Damiani, that's a little difficult, but he's working on it, and they've said he's gotten a lot better at it. So he's trying to work his way into the lineup there, and hopefully on the penalty kill as well. So he's definitely willing to take on a bottom 6 role if it means he can get into the NHL, is what this article sounds like.
Oh, and that's a good point, Chris, because it seems like the whole point of this article is to point out that, yes, right now he's seen as like an offensive threat. He was a first line center in the AHL and stuff like that. 36 points in 36 games. A point per game player. But the fact that they're trying to broaden his horizon, add in more of the penalty kill, focus more on the defensive side of the game. And we talked about this just last week, Chris, about how it's easier for a younger player to come into the NHL, even if he's a center, if he comes in on the wing, because he has less responsibility to have to deal with. And maybe that's what we need from Riley Damiani, right? I mean, we talked about this with him. If Jamie Benn is the center on the third line, which I'm hoping that is going to happen, Riley Damiani would be a perfect option according to this article. Because we've talked about and especially me, I've been talking about even before we started this podcast for years about how we needed a scoring threat on that third line. And someone that can kind of do all the things that like a Blake Coleman can do. Now, we weren't going to go out and get Blake Coleman, but if Riley Damiani, not at $6 million, I wouldn't. I'm glad we didn't pay that. But if reading through this article, I just was thinking in the back of my head, I'm thinking, holy crap, this would be an absolute perfect fit for the third line if he's ready.
Yeah, I mean, Peverly is saying that he's a full complete player already, and that he could play penalty kill and bottom six right now, and that the only thing he needs to work on is his board, his play on the boards, and he's saying he right now. So if he can get that figured out completely, and he can be that bottom six guy, and that way he'll get the opportunity. Like you said, if he's playing with Ben, he's going to get the opportunity to do the offense, but his main role will still be on the penalty kill and on the more depth role, kind of bottom six role. But Heike and Peverly in this article are both saying that he can do that, no doubt.
Yeah.
So I would much rather see him in there than some of our older depth guys, definitely. So if he can fight his way into an NHL spot, that would be really awesome. And that's what he said he wants to do in this article.
James, do you have any thoughts on any of this me and Chris backing off on this?
It's funny because, like, you read the whole article and then, like, towards the end there, it's like, oh, yeah, by the way, he's 5'10" and only 720. So, like, he's got to get... Yeah, sorry, 170. But he's got to get...
Dang, 5'10", 720 pounds.
Sorry.
Dang, man.
Right. Exactly. But, like, with him being not being as good on the puck battles right now and trying to get better at that, that's going to get better as he gets bigger, too. So...
Yeah.
Well,
it would have been nice if he got bigger this offseason, though, but whatever. Right. Moving on.
Right.
It also says he's listed at 170, so maybe that's a little Heike hint that he looks bigger than that now.
Yeah, but, we've talked about that was one of the big things we talked about with Ty Dellandrea, right? Mm-hmm. Was the fact that he was kind of getting pushed off the puck. And that was one of the reasons why he didn't get a ton of ice time in the NHL, as much as one might have expected with all the injuries that we had. So, and I'm going to say this again because I got to point it out, but this guy was drafted in the 5th round. And the Stars have had a really good recent history with drafting guys out of the 5th round. Jamie Benn, out of the 5th round. John Klingberg, out of the 5th round. So call me crazy or superstitious or whatever, but if someone big is coming up like that out of the 5th round, I feel really good about the fact that he's going to be an NHLer, maybe even this season. And again, I have no idea. Normally I have an idea of whether a player is going to make it or not onto the opening night roster, but I honestly don't have a clue.
Yeah, I haven't seen him enough. Hopefully after this tournament, Hopefully I can see enough with him being amongst other prospects too to see kind of if he looks like he can make that push. But I don't know if I'm good enough at watching prospects yet, so we'll see.
Yeah, we ought to ask Josh and Sam to see what their thoughts are on that. But anyways, I'm hoping he makes the team because that would be really cool. And I think he's only 21, right? Is that what we said? Yeah, he's 21.
Yeah.
So
he's a much bigger offensive threat than any of our older depth guys would be.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. And we really need we need somebody who can score on that third line and somebody who can maybe spruce some youth into Jamie Benn again, because he seemed to do okay on that third line last year being a center. So maybe he'd be a good partner for Jamie Benn. We'll find out, and we'll find out very soon, actually, as well, with training camp coming up. Okay, the other guy that we wanted to talk about and mention also was, he's not gonna make the camp. I can almost guarantee you that. And it's,
Amen.
I really don't see it happening. And before I go on, Thomas Harley. There you go. You got the name in your head, audience. I just don't see it just because of how stacked we are at defense.
All
for
right,
the
you didn't
Stars.
explain the article again. Going in to explain the article. Okay, so last year Thomas Harley was supposed to be in the OHL, right? That's a junior league, so that's full of all of the younger players. But because of the COVID, because of the Rona, he didn't get to play in the OHL because they didn't have a season. So he went to the AHL instead. So him and the development guys, like Peverly, they're all saying that was probably really good for him because he had to play against these much bigger guys and stuff.
Rather than these 16-year-old
Rather
kids.
than, how they phrase it, the 16-year-old kids on a Sunday afternoon, and he can do whatever he wants. So he figured out that in the AHL, he's not that big anymore. So you know what he did this offseason? He got bigger. So he's talking about how much bigger he feels himself. So he feels already bigger. Let me see if I can find the quote because it was hilarious. Where'd it go? Ryan, talk.
All right, well, I'll go with the other thing real quick. The reason why I don't think he's going to make it is just because, and this was pointed out in the article as well, is he just faces really, really tough odds because Dallas has three talented defensemen who are going to take most of the skilled minutes this season anyway, and Heiskanen, Klingberg, and Suter. So, and then on top of that, the Stars have four other blue liners who are already on one-way contracts: Esa Lindell, Andre Sekera, Hakanpää, and Joel Hanley. Joel Hanley, I think, would be that seventh defenseman. So he just faces really bad odds against him just because of all the other defensemen that are there.
Yeah,
and then on top of that, I can't remember who exactly it was. I think it was Petrovic. And then there was one other guy that Nil signed that was a defenseman who was a veteran guy, an older guy, not an old guy, but like a, 28 to 32 aged kind of guy, and who was seen as a depth defenseman. And he signed two of them. Excuse me. And those guys I would say, are behind the depth chart on Joel Hanley. So, you've got those 9 guys and then Thomas Harley. So I just don't see it for Thomas Harley this season.
He's definitely got an uphill battle, but I found the quote that got me excited about it. So this is quoting Thomas Harley. He said, "I've noticed a couple of times just being stronger than the other guy. It's not something I'm really used to. The other day, Maverick Bourque just ran into me, and I didn't even feel him. He fell right on his back. I just kind of laughed and skated up the ice. Just little things like that I noticed." So he didn't like not being the biggest in the AHL, so he went out and got bigger, and now Maverick can't even try and hit him without falling. So that's what really excites me, that this guy, he's already big, and he can get bigger, and he's already gotten bigger, and he could be a really physical, solid defensive guy. So that's what I'm excited about, is that he's made big, obvious leaps and bounds in the offseason that it was enough for Heike to write a whole article about just how much bigger he's gotten.
No, it's not really fair to base it off of his one game that he had in the 2020 bubble playoffs, because one, that was an extenuating circumstance with him even being there in the first place. And second, it's been a year and a half now. It's been a full season since that happened. So, but when he played that one game, it just seemed like he felt out of place. Just watching him on the ice, and that's just me coming from a non-trained scout's eye, just a crazy hardcore hockey fan kind of eye. But one of the things that was also mentioned in this article, and Peverly talked about this, and I kind of agree with the intent and what he's trying to bring out here. The offense is there. The offense is already there. There's no question that Harley offensively is ready for the NHL. but the thing that is going to get him to the next level, and let me quote this directly from Peverly, it's his defending that'll take him to the next level. So I even stole his quote. But that's the thing that's going to get him to the next level. He's got to not only play offense like Miro Heiskanen, but he's also got to bulk up that defensive side of the puck. And a lot of the time, those offensive defensemen that we've seen come up in the NHL, the Cale Makars, the Quinn Hughes, the Miro Heiskanens. Miro Heiskanen was kind of the exception, in my opinion, because he was already fantastic defensively. But the other two, they had to do a little bit more growing in the defensive side of the game before they were considered, those elite defensemen in the NHL. And I think that's something that Harley is missing. And if Harley is ready for that this season, and defensively he's ready, that maybe make John Klingberg kind of expendable.
No.
And that's what I've seen. And I'm not saying that from my viewpoint. That is coming from the viewpoint of many members of the media. Try and say that 5 times fast. Many members of the media. Anyways, so I don't know. We'll see how that goes.
I think if he doesn't get to the NHL this year, he's definitely in the NHL in some capacity next year. So he's real close.
My thing is that he's not a bottom 2 pairing. You can't put Thomas Harley in the bottom 2.
I think he could be.
No,
the way that he's bulking up, the way he's getting bigger, and if he can really play that defensive hard on the boards role, you can play that in the bottom 2. You can be offensive and be on the bottom 2. There's no rule that says you can't have a puck moving guy on the bottom 2.
Right, but the way that Bonus implements his strategy is that he heavily leans on that top 4. I mean, you could see that even in the bubble playoffs when we were like, holy crap, look, Miro Heiskanen's got 25 minutes, Klingberg's got 24.
But if Harley is truly that much better, then he doesn't need to be in the AHL. Those minutes aren't going to help him. So the fewer minutes he's going to get in the NHL,
and that's also a good point. That's a good point
in the AHL. So,
and I really think he still needs one more year in the AHL because maybe he just needs to bulk up a little bit more and realize that he can, bully people around like that, and get used to playing against men rather than people in the OHL or whatever. But I just think that he's like number 10 on the draft board right now, and I think Nil did that on purpose, signing those 2 guys. Petrovic's one, I don't remember the other. But I think he signed them on purpose with the intent of not wanting Harley to have to be pushed into the NHL Stars lineup this upcoming season. And that's just what I think, based off of what I'm saying. But I'm really excited to see where Thomas Harley ends up in the next couple of years.
Both of these guys are really exciting.
Yep. And what's funny about this is that one's a first rounder, one's a 5th rounder. So, it is completely opposite ends of the spectrum. And, one we kind of expected, and Thomas Harley, building up or whatever, and Riley Damiani was just a pleasant surprise. So, we'll see how those 2 guys go. There are so many other guys we could talk about, but we just don't have the time. And we'll talk about that hopefully another time. But maybe next week, hopefully, as we're getting closer to the season, we can do an actual season preview for the Stars coming up next week. So, anyways, guys, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up that portion, and we're going to talk about our Who Cares segment for the evening, which, Christian, since it was your idea, why don't you go ahead and tell us what our Who Cares segment is for the evening?
We are doing our favorite pizza restaurants.
Favorite pizza restaurants?
I mean, it can be frozen. Favorite kinds of pizza.
Okay, I think we just put pizza, didn't we? Yeah, we just put pizza.
We'll
we can we can make it vague, whatever you want. And for y'all, I'm expecting something, but I'll wait. All right, so James, you want to go first? You want to talk about your favorite pizzas? Talk about your pizza restaurant or
talk about my favorite pizza.
And or type of pizza.
It's not a type of pizza. It's just cheese pizza. Okay. Just
bland.
Untainted, plain cheese pizza. It is delicious. You don't need anything on it. It's perfect the way it is. Cheese, tomato sauce, and bread.
That's it.
I like cheese pizza if I'm getting like New York style, but if I'm getting Domino's pizza and it's just cheese,
Just cheese.
No.
If it's not good when it's just cheese, the pizza isn't good.
I mean that's true, but it's still pizza.
Yeah, that's also true. You know, I'm with you, Chris. Like, if it's gonna be just a plain cheese pizza, it better be New York style. Have y'all tried Chicago style pizza before?
I haven't. I want to.
No. What about brick oven pizza? Have y'all tried that before?
Hell yeah, brick oven pizza be schmacky.
Yeah, brick oven pizza is. I don't know what it is about
Becky
brick
made.
oven, and it's specifically if you get it with. And I know this seems crazy too, but not like electric heated brick oven, like a real true brick oven pizza, like with charcoal or wood or whatever the people use. Like that is absolutely fantastic. I don't know what it is about it, but I love it way more than just like an electric heated brick oven pizza.
It's yum.
Yep. I mean, my favorite pizza is obviously pepperoni. I mean, y'all know that because I've always eaten pepperoni. But what makes it even better is it has to be stuffed crust. Absolutely has to be stuffed crust.
Stuffed crust overrated. Not that good.
Screw you. Screw you. Really. But stuffed crust makes pizza just better. Like, you could take any pizza in
you're
the
five.
world. You could take any... You got me. Dang it. I tried not to laugh, but you could take any pizza in the world and just make it just a little bit better. Throw stuffed crust on it. Okay, all right. Let me ask you this:
Or you
Hawaiian?
dip it in garlic butter. There's a way
No,
better than stuffed
no.
crust.
Have,
Garlic, man.
hey, what about this? Have y'all tried Hungry Howie's? Have y'all had Hungry Howie's
I
before?
have a Hungry Howie's here, but I've never had it. I've never had Hungry Howie's. Have you?
Yes, there was one in my college town, and it was okay. Their main thing was all about their flavored crust, so that's like what they're known for.
It looks weird.
It's actually pretty good. It's not bad.
All right, moving on to Chris. Chris went with the classic Who Cares format. So I have top three. So number 3 for I chose readily to get pizzas so that y'all can have an opinion against me. So number 3 is Bagel Bites.
Those are okay.
Bagel Bites are
I don't mind those.
amazing. I love
I don't
them.
mind those.
I like. Here's the controversial that y'all are gonna disagree with. I like Bagel Bites more than Totino's pizza rolls.
Okay, nah, that's too far. That's
Bagel
way too
Bites,
far.
So good. The bagel, so delicious. The sauce.
It's
way
too much
better than
bread.
Totino's. Yeah, bread's
It's too
good.
much. No,
You
it's
like
too
bread?
much bread. No, the what makes the pizza is the sauce.
Nah.
The sauce
bread,
and the cheese, not the bread. If
bread
if there's
needs
too
to
much,
It's
it's just like a hamburger. It's just like a hamburger. If there's too much bread, it's not a good hamburger. The focus has got to be on the toppings and the cheese and the meat and stuff.
All right, moving on. Number 2 is Little Caesars. So there's 2 reasons for this. One, I can just
It's cheap.
drive there and pick up a pizza, and it's $5. That's amazing. A whole pizza, a whole one, like a big whole thing, is $5. That's
Not
awesome.
sponsored.
We're definitely sponsored. Have you? Number 2 reason for Little Caesars being at number 2. Have you had their deep dish or thick crust, whatever it is, pizza?
Not sponsored.
Their deep dish
That's-
pepperoni.
That stuff is actually good. I will put that against any pizza because it's delicious. It's like Sicilian style, you know, so it's got the thick bread. I think I just like bread. I think that's what I'm learning.
I was about to
is that
say, yeah.
I like bread. But anyway, it's amazing. It's crunchy. It's got little crispy, cheesy bits on the end. It's nice and golden on the bottom. It's delicious. That one's a little more expensive. You gotta like order it too, so it's a little bit of a hassle, but whatever.
It's still less than $10, right?
It's less than 10.
I
but
think it's less than
$8.
$10. Yeah, it's $8. Yeah.
It's a frick ton of pizza, dude. And since it's like bread, it's like 2 slices fill you up, and you still got 6 more of those suckers. Moving
Talk
on.
about food cleaning.
The number 1 pizza is Domino's. Domino's
Really?
is just good. Yes, I do. Their crust, they put the little garlic stuff on it, like I was just saying earlier. The garlic on the crust, amazing. Love garlic.
I'm
Delicious.
honestly a little surprised at you, Chris, because what I expected you to say as number 1 was Double Dave's.
No.
No, really?
I mean, and I was doing readily made. Double Dave's is really good.
But it's not
But-
readily made. I guess
It's
that
not
kind of
readily
defeats the
available,
point.
yeah.
Yeah, that
And-
defeats the point.
And the best thing at Double Dave's is the pizza rolls. So it's not even the pizza. I've had their pizza. The pizza's good, and it's very different and unique, but their best thing is the pizza rolls. If y'all know what I'm talking about, it's like a College Station. I think there's one in Waco now too, but it's a very regional thing. But they have pizza rolls, but it's not like a Totino's pizza roll. They literally take like a slice of pizza and like roll it up.
Is it
It's
like
this
a
long little tube of?
is it like a
pizza.
stromboli kind of? Is it like that big, like a stromboli size kind of thing?
I don't even know what the heck a stromboli is, bro.
I mean,
stromboli?
it's pretty big. It's like an Italian thing. It's kind of like about that
You mean
big.
a calzone?
I guess it's kind of like a calzone, but bigger than a calzone.
Nah, it's smaller than a calzone. It's like if you took a slice of pizza and you rolled it up. That's the size,
No, okay. Well,
like tip to crust. But it's real good. You dip it in. You can dip it in the ranch or the marinara. Both are very good options. It also makes putting ranch on the pizza more acceptable, and that's the only time I accept it is when it's in pizza roll form.
mm-hmm.
So, how do we get on Double Dave's? My number one
'Cause I
was
mentioned it.
Domino's.
Yeah, because I mentioned Double Days because I was surprised
Man.
you didn't put
The
Double
next Who
Days.
Cares is going to be only pizza rolls. I could do that in College Station. Pizza rolls are a big thing here.
Really?
Like every place has pizza rolls. But anyway,
Yeah, out here.
Domino's is great. They got the $8.99 carryout deal.
Won the $5.99 mix and match 2 deal.
No, but that one's you gotta get 2, and then you're at $12.
But still, that's awesome. You can get a
I don't-
pizza
I
and
don't
get the
have
cheesy
$12.
bread.
I don't have $12. If you want to give me $12, I'll do the mix and match. But until I get $12, I'm gonna do the $8.99 carryout. But I think it's $7.99. I don't know. It's around $8.
That's still not bad
And
though.
that's for a large pizza, and you get 3 toppings, and then I go pepperoni, peppers, and onions. That's amazing. That's classic American pizza. You know, there's New York pizza, there's Chicago pizza, but Domino's, that's American pizza. Everybody can munch on some Domino's and be happy.
Have y'all ever tried pepperoni and jalapeno before?
Pepperoni jalapeno is my
That's
number
actually
2
really
at
good.
Domino's.
Yeah, that's
Smack, dude.
really
I
good.
want to burn my face off. I'm getting pepperoni jalapeno.
Right. I've always wanted to try and put like Carolina Reapers on a
No,
pizza before
you're
with
stupid.
just
I
just to
tried-
try it.
I tried one bite of a ghost pepper. Like I bit the
A ghost
skin
pepper,
off.
not even a Carolina
Not even
Reaper.
a ghost pepper. I bit
Okay.
the skin on it. Didn't get a seed at all. I almost vomited.
Oh
It was
golly, that's
terrible.
bad. That's
it
bad.
was so bad. Do not eat peppers. Like straight peppers, unless it's a jalapeno. You can maybe do a habanero if you're a big spicy boy, but don't eat straight peppers. They taste terrible too. The ghost pepper was so bad. I
Really?
thought I ate something that died.
It can't be that bad. I say that
Fine,
I've
good
never
one,
I've
good
never
one.
tried a ghost pepper before. Yeah, that's true. But I've always wanted to try a Carolina Reaper just to say that I have because a lot of the kids at the school where I teach are like, "Have you ever tried a Carolina Reaper before?" And I'm like, "If you give me $5, I'll do it."
That's a really strange question to ask your band director, but
I know,
you
I know. But they're 6th graders. What do you expect? Okay, and
Sixth graders these days.
okay, now I gotta ask this question because this is the age old question
Ask it.
when it comes to pizza. Does pineapple belong on
No.
pizza?
It doesn't even belong in the same paragraph.
Agreed, 100%. Okay, finally, Chris, we agree on something.
James, you're being
James,
silent.
James, you better
I'm
not.
technically on your side.
No,
I'm not.
you're either there's
You're
no
either with us or
technically.
against
You-
us. No, okay. All I'm saying is that sometimes some fruit and some nice meat and hot food together tastes really good. Okay.
Nope.
oh
Mute him,
my
mute him,
no!
Ryan.
Oh
Mute
my
him.
goodness, James,
Muted.
James,
He's never coming back. This is the last time you're going to be hearing from producer James ever again.
Well, I will. That's the first time, Chris. You've been on the majority side every single issue tonight. Every single issue, and it's either been James on the other side or
Because
me
I'm
on the other
always
side.
right. I'm
You-
always right.
No, you're always.
Everybody who listens to this podcast knows I'm always right. That's why they come back. Because I'm a magician.
Oh man, oh man. Well, if I had to go with like a favorite pizza restaurant, I'll just do one. But and I like Domino's. Domino's is normally where I order from. But if I really want like a pizza, and again, I have money and I have a job, so this
does.
This is right. It's kind of out of y'all's price range, but Pizza Hut, I love it.
That's
They
so
have
sad. Pizza Hut's out of my price range. I'm so poor.
it is it's so amazing. And then Sundays, at least where I went to college at, the Pizza Hut in Nacogdoches, Texas, had a pizza buffet. And they didn't do those little like cheesy little dumb, no pun intended. They didn't do the dumb little small pizzas. They did like full size pizzas. You could grab as many slices as you wanted and eat.
Double
Sunday
days.
lunch buffet. Oh, I
Double Days
love it.
has pizza buffets for lunch. Those are amazing. They have pizza rolls. They have full pizzas. They got desserts. They got salad. Double Dave's pizza buffet is the best. That's the greatest. Before we sign off, little A&M update. We barely beat Colorado. It was very scary. We lost our number 1 quarterback. I'm very scared. Zach Calzada looks terrible. We kept throwing the football. I don't know why we were doing that. I was blowing up our family group chat with upset words about that. But
And
it's
the running
okay.
back y'all have, he can run the football.
We have
He's
three running
decent.
backs who can run the football. He's not,
Yeah.
and they're not all great. Okay, moving on. We're still gonna win the national championship. We're still gonna beat Bama. We're
yeah.
gonna beat New Mexico this week. I'm going to the Arkansas game in Arlington the week after that, and then we're gonna be back here in Kyle Field beating Bama. I'm gonna storm the field. Y'all check me out on whatever radio station that is.
ESPN radio
uh,
station.
Oh, TV station that's on. Check
Everybody,
me out on Kyle
everybody,
Field.
tune into the radio to
know it's
watch
on the
Chris
radio.
get on the
Well, the Man
field.
Foundation, they're on there. But I'll be the one jumping on the field goal post. Y'all check me out 3 weeks from now.
Yeah, and you're gonna be holding a Double Dave's pizza
I'll be
roll
holding
in
Double
one
Dave's
hand,
pizza roll.
and then Mountain Dew Baja Blast in the other.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, I think that's gonna cut it out for us tonight before we get any weirder or crazier tonight. Chris, once again, thanks for coming on. James, thanks for coming on. James is gonna start coming on as more of a regular person, so he's gonna become the official third member of this podcast. So
We need help.
yeah, and we do need help. I
Sorry.
mean, I need a lot of help. So, and James is gonna be our stats guy too. He's gonna throw useless random facts of stats at us whenever he wants, and we're just gonna
we need
go.
a segment for James. Stupid
Yeah,
stats. with
Stupid
James.
stats with James. I like it. Okay. All right, guys. Thanks once again for tuning in to Starcast Remarks, a member of the the Hockey Podcast Network. The Hockey Podcast Network, and we are sponsored by DraftKings. Thank you, DraftKings, for sponsoring this episode. And make sure you follow us.
PHPN on DraftKings for free things. I don't know what it is this week, but it's something.
Yep, there's always something new. There's always good stuff. Make sure you guys follow us on Twitter at StarcasticR, on Instagram, and also make sure you like us on Facebook. And we will be back with you guys here in about a week. And then when the season starts, we'll be with you guys every single game, after every single game. So we're looking forward to that.
Right here on the Hockey Podcast Network. See you guys
F-
on the flip side.
Rude.
Burn.
I'm going to steal my promo. Have a good night, and we'll catch you guys on the flip side. Ha, I said it first.